Have you ever wondered how a really simple story can convince someone to just hand over their money? Well, today we're going to break down a classic con, piece by piece, and our case study comes from, of all places, a children's cartoon.
At the core of any great con is a story that doesn't appeal to your brain, it appeals to your heart. It's a tale designed to make you feel something so strongly that you don't even stop to think.
So, rule number one of any con game. You've got to set an emotional hook, something that just bypasses all our critical thinking. And really, what's more powerful than seeing a child in tears?
So let's meet John, our con artist in training. He goes right for the kind-hearted Motsu with this sob story about how he wants to be a doctor, and an engineer, and a pilot too. It's this huge, ambitious dream that, for a guy like Motsu, is just impossible to ignore.
And then comes the masterstroke. He doesn't just ask for some help. Nope, he gives a very specific number, 20,000 rupees. That little detail makes it feel so much more real, right? It creates this urgency, like it's for a real bill that needs to be paid right now.
And Motu, well, he is the perfect mark. This profile says it all. He's all heart. He doesn't question a thing. He just feels the kid's pain. He immediately runs off and raids the savings he's been stashing in sugar and rice jars. I mean, his kindness is literally the vulnerability the con is built to exploit.
Okay, so after the first score, a good con artist knows you can often go back for more. But you can't use the same story. You have to up the ante, make it even more dramatic.
And here's the escalation. The story completely changes. It's not about school fees anymore. Now it's a life-or-death family crisis, a sick mom, an emergency surgery. The story gets way more tragic, which makes it even harder for a guy like Motu to say no.
And Motu, he buys it completely. He is so hooked by this new, heartbreaking tale that he doesn't just give his own money away again. He actually goes and borrows another 20,000 from his friend, Inspector Chingam, to help John out a second time.
But just when this whole thing seems to be working perfectly, a new player enters the game. Every good story needs some conflict, and here it comes in the form of Motu's buddy, Patlu, and he is the voice of reason.
And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's the classic battle, emotion versus logic. Motu sees a poor, helpless child. Patlu, on the other hand, sees a bunch of red flags and a story that just doesn't add up.
See? Patlu's brain is working. He's spotting patterns. He recognizes the kid looks a lot like a known criminal, and he starts thinking, wait a minute, is he wearing a mask? But Motu is so caught up in the emotion of it all, he can't even begin to imagine he's being lied to.
Patlu realizes pretty quickly that he's never going to convince Motu with just logic. So what does he do? He decides he has to beat the con artists at their own game. He's going to set an even bigger, crazier trap.
And their counterplan is just wonderfully absurd. They don't just expose the lie. Oh no, they offer a free and probably terrifying operation for John's mom, and then they throw in a surprise wedding for his sister. Yes, you heard me right, a wedding.
The pure absurdity is what makes it so brilliant. The fake doctor they bring in gives this unique reassurance about his skills. It is so completely over the top, it's designed to make the con artists totally panic and break character. And this just creates this amazing, funny tension. You're watching John and his family have to deal with a situation that is just spinning wildly out of their control. It really tests how far they're willing to take their own lie.
So, faced with a fake doctor who has a 0% survival rate and a surprise wedding for the sister, the pressure just becomes way too much. The whole scheme just crumbles under the weight of this new, crazier reality.
You can just picture it. The doctor is pulling out all these scary-looking tools, the groom is getting ready for the ceremony, and the family just can't take it anymore. They have to reveal who they really are just to escape this insane trap that Patlu set for them.
And here it is, the confession. A total reversal. The kid who dreamed of being a doctor, an engineer, and a pilot, he's gone. Now he's just a boy who would rather go to jail than deal with the consequences of his own con.
So why is this so important? Because even though this is a cartoon, the techniques are exactly the same ones used in real-world phishing scams and all those sympathy cons you hear about. It's all about finding that empathetic target and spinning a story that hits them right in the feels.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. That line between compassion and critical thinking is super thin, and that's precisely the space where every con artist loves to operate. So the next time a story really pulls at your heartstrings, just ask yourself, am I being kind or am I being conned?